right? Coming to the prelims, so I'll read out the syllabus that's written in the prelims. And in the prelims it says, for paper 1 of prelims, India and world geography, physical, social, economic geography of India and the world. So what does it say? Physical, social and economic geography of India and the world. That means it covers nearly all aspects of geography. In physical geography, again, looking at landforms, looking at the climate, looking at the oceans, the ocean bottom reliefs, the currents, the wind patterns all around the world. Social geography. Social geography deals with what? Social geography deals with society. Social geography is the intersection of sociology and geography. This intersection is called social geography. Here we see the kind of explanations needed for why the population is growing as it is growing, why is it distributed as it is distributed. Like you'll see geographical factors. Physical geography is a very big determinant of how population is distributed. Let us say, for example, let's take the example of India, right? If you've traveled around India, you'll see the maximum population concentration is in this area, the Ganges plains. While if you go towards the hills, say you're traveling to Himachal Pradesh, you're traveling to Uttarakhand, you'll see that the population becomes sparse. Very fewer people around. As you go higher, you'll see lesser number of vehicles on the road. You'll hardly see 1 or 2 people walking by the road. But if you're going, say, if you're traveling from, say, Delhi to Lucknow, the amount of vehicles on the road, the amount of traffic that, the people walking by the road, the people you see in the cities is much more. So you'll see that plains have a higher density of population than the hills. Similarly, if I take another example, come to this part. You know what is located here? This is the location of the Sahara Desert. You might have heard about it, right? So the Sahara Desert is a very dry region, right? So in this region, you have sand dunes. In this region, you have sand dunes. You have Rocky Mountains. I mean, the name of the mountains out here are Atlas Mountains. You have rocky areas and you have sand dunes. And all of these regions are again sparsely populated. Come to the United States. This is the eastern coast of the United States. From Boston right up to Philadelphia, right from here to here, and southwards to Washington. This entire area is very densely populated. It seems like one continuous city, because one city starts and by the time its municipal boundaries end, the boundaries of the next city starts. There's no greenery or rural land in between. But if we come, so this area is very densely populated, but if we come here towards this area, again moderately populated. Move a bit west, here, you might have heard about Las Vegas, Nevada. That area is sparsely populated. It's all desert all around. Again, moving towards the coast, San Francisco, Los Angeles, densely populated. So we see that geography has a big role to play in the population distribution of the world, right? So it's not only about population distribution, it's about how the population is growing. You might have seen in the news, it's a very big problem that we're going to face is that of aging. As you know, countries like Japan and Russia are aging. Out there, the population is not growing at a rate to replace the working population, right? So, on the other hand, countries like India, Sub-Saharan Africa are still very young and will form the major workforce of the world for the years to come, right? So, there are various problems associated with this. We'll see all of them in social geography. Coming to the third thing, economic geography. Economic geography again relates to natural resources. industries, right? Trade routes. Why is this important? Because trade runs the world today, right? You might have heard about China's Belt and Road Initiative. It is a very ambitious project to connect China via a belt. The belt relates to the land roads all the way to Europe, and through the maritime road through South Asia and Africa. So that's the plan that is under process, that is being constructed. Roads are being constructed all across through Chinese loans all across Eastern Europe and Asia, and in partnerships in Western Europe, right? A train had been flagged off earlier this year, and sometime in it was either at the end of 2017 or in the early part of 2018, where the train started off from China and reached England, right? So that is an important trade route, and while we talk about trade routes, we'll talk about Indian trade routes as well. As you might know, 95% of India's trade happens through sea. So our maritime trade routes are very important. From India, you can see these routes are marked all the way to the Red Sea, to the Persian Gulf, through the Straits of Malacca, right, to Cape Town, to the US, UK. So all of these are very important. Similarly, distribution of natural resources in the world. A very big crisis that humanity faces today is the utilization of resources. We are reaching population levels that are going to cause crisis in the near future. So a big discussion is regarding the distribution of natural resources. It's how resources are distributed around the world. Right? There are resource rich regions, there are resource poor regions. So that is something we'll see how, for example, say coal is distributed around the world, because coal is an important energy source, right? How petroleum and natural gas is distributed around the world, how uranium is distributed around the world, right? All of these will come under natural resources. Which brings me to a very interesting point of discussion. Right now I talked about resource rich region and resource poor region. Right now I talked about resource rich region and resource poor region. So what do you understand by resource